Hey there, Heather Ho there, Jeff Cutter welcoming you to the playoffs for the 91-92 season, which we would be doing there. Chicago Blackhawks trying to get into the Stanley Cup Finals. So as you see the 16 teams there, how the matchups are, and the weird thing is how life art almost imitates life. Of these 8 matchups, how many do you think were actual matchups in the 92 playoffs? You would probably say 4 or 5 at best, but no, 7. Well, with an asterisk, because Vancouver Edmonton did beat, but in the second round, not the first round. Detroit Minnesota met in the first round. That was the famous series in which the Red Wings were down 3-1 to the North Stars, and then Sergei Fedorov's Game 6 overtime goal under the crossbar, first overtime goal reviewed in by video review. And Detroit took out the North Stars in Game 7, and the North Stars and didn't make the playoffs in '93, and then of course they got booted for Dallas because Norm Green was a greedy, you know what. Chicago St. Louis met in '92. That was when the Blues were up 2 games to 1 on the Blackhawks, and then the Hawks went on their that 11-game winning streak. 3 against the Blues, 4 against the Red Wings, and 4 against the Oil Drop. Oilers took out Vancouver in the Smythe Division Finals, but they're meeting semis this time. Winnipeg plays Calgary. That's the big change. Calgary is in this setup and not Los Angeles. So yeah, so Winnipeg did fall to Vancouver. Edmonton took care of LA, but yeah, Winnipeg will play Calgary in the series. Calgary did not make the Stanley Cup, even though the playoffs, even though they traded Dick Gilmore away. Montreal Hartford in '92 was a thing. That was when Hartford forced Game 7 against Montreal, and Russ Courtnall scored that big double overtime goal, which would be the last time Hartford would be in the playoffs as the Whalers before they moved to Carolina to become the Canes. Boston Buffalo met in '92. I think that was a 5 game, or was it a 6? Was it a 7 game series? I feel like that wasn't. I think it was like 5 or 6. But yeah, Boston and Buffalo met in '92 in the first round. Rangers Devils met in the first round in '92. That's when the Rangers got forced to Game 7 on home ice. Fortunately, they took care of the Devils. Washington Pittsburgh. That's the series in which Washington was up 3 games to 1, but fucked it up, and Pittsburgh won the next 3. So just a little bit of a summary and all of that before we get to the playoff stats. Detroit, 104 points, crushed the North Division. We got 76 points per second, 65 for St. Louis. Minnesota beat Toronto on wins. That's why they got fourth. Vancouver looking good in the Smythe. Winnipeg nipped Calgary for second place and home ice. Edmonton nipped Los Angeles by a win to qualify for the trip to the playoffs. Poor LA, 81 points. They would have been second in our division, third in the Adams, and I think they would be fourth. Yeah, they would be fourth in the Patrick division. I feel so bad for them. Not. Sharks only scored 36 points in their inaugural season. Adams division, Montreal crushing it over Boston. Buffalo, Hartford, and Quebec were battling it out. Buffalo took the 3 seed. Hartford nipped Quebec by 2 points. And they had more wins, of course. Rangers nipped Washington by a win in the Patrick. Pittsburgh nipped New Jersey by a point for third. And to face Washington, New Jersey faced the Rangers. Islanders and Phillies had no chance. Although the Islanders would have been third in our division to make the playoffs. And the Flyers would have been like third. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. Brett Hall scoring 69 goals. Nice. In the regular season, Vincent Delpous put up 59, which was shocking because, he left the Leafs for the Oilers. And yet, he would leave the Oilers the next year to Montreal for Shane Corson, if memory serves me right. Kevin Stevens, 58 goals. Gary Roberts, 57. Joe Moon, 50. Our own JR with 48. And he was the only one in the top 30. Points wise, Kevin Stevens won the point race 118, being Wayne Gretzky and Vincent Delpous. Our own JR took 10th, missed by 1 fucking point for 100 points. Watt, Richter, McLean, your 3 story goals against average. Belfort, 11th. All right, now we go to playoff stats. All right, so the playoffs, we simulate every series except our own, of course. Detroit, Minnesota, Game 1 says Minnesota shocked Detroit 4-1. John Casey beats Tim Shovelday. The Icebergs scored for Detroit, but Bellows, Kitchener, Alec, Jim Johnson, and Dave Gagne. Gagne means the win, 4-1. Vancouver beat Edmonton 3-1. Ron Tugnut brought in for the stretch run. He loses to Kirk McLean. Book Booger for Edmonton. 2 goals by Trevor Linden and 1 from Tommy Fergus for Vancouver. Winnipeg wins Game 1 over Calgary 5-2 as Steven Beauregard, remember that name, Chicago fans, beat Mike Vernon. Al McInnes, Kitchener, and Joe Ottos for Calgary. Winnipeg goals by Ochek, Kachuk, Keep Kachuk, Luciano Borsato, Elianek, and then Eddie Oshchuk with his second. Pittsburgh shocks Washington 5-2. Ken Reagan beats Beaupre. They used Reagan for backup champs. Aya Frady and Chris Chicks for Washington. Tocchet, Mario, Stanton, Yager, and Mullen for Pitt. Devils shocked the Rangers in game 1 4-3 as Erickson. Who the hell is this? Keith Erickson? I don't know, but Rangers were doing well. Doug Waite, Mark Messier, John Gronek scored to make it 3-1, but the Devils scored 4 goals. Alex Emack, Claude Lemieux with 2, and Claude Filgrain, the pride of Haiti. Boston crushing Buffalo 8-3. Durham Pupa got taken out by Berfune. Stephen Leach with 2 goals for Boston. Howard Chuck 2 for Buffalo. And Montreal won 7-0 as Peter Angelo got his butt handed to him by Waugh. As Denny Savard and Sylvain Turgeon put up 2 goals each. Screwlin, Keane, and Leclerc. So it's nice to see a former Blackhawk do well in Denny Savard. So now we play game 1 against St. Louis. And our first goalie, Ed Belfour, will take on Cujo, the 2 main goalies going after it. St. Louis also have Guy Bear a year before he went to the Ducks. Pat Jablonski and Vince Riandu, the first North American player to play in the Russian Super League. Chicago, we have Belfort, we have Dominic Hasek, before he was a star with Buffalo. Jimmy Waite, number 29, Ray LeBlanc, USA goalie. We have ourselves JR, a good American sniper. Steve Larmer, 880 consecutive regular season games before it broke because of a damn contract negotiation. Michel Goulet, Quebec star Chicago star Brian Noodles Noonan, part of the 94 Rangers alongside Larmer. Brent Sutter, who we mortgaged from the Islanders, who's done well. Dirk Graham, the first black captain in Stanley Cup history. Look it up, people. Mike Hudson, part of the 94 Rangers. Chris Chelios, defenseman, Chicago native, second year from Montreal, traded for Denny Savard. Steve Smith, who we got from Edmonton for Dave Manson. It was like Steve Smith. He won 3 Stanley Cups after his 86 boo-boo, but Edmonton still didn't forgive him. Greg Gilbert, 94 Rangers. Jocelyn Lemieux, Keith Brown. Mike Peluso, tough guy. Rob Brown, picking up playoff experience. Brian Marchman, Stefan Matteau, 94 Rangers. Matteau. Mike Stapleton, Frank Cusera, Dan Fizzolette, Igor Kravchuk, and Tony Horacek. The Blues with Brett Hull, the sniper extraordinaire. Brandon Shanahan, who they picked up for the Devils, but lost Scott Stevens for compensation. Shenny. Nellie Emerson. Jeff Brown, good defenseman. Dave Christian, American member of American Ice. Ron Sutter and Rich Sutter, the Sutter brothers. So 3 Sutters in this thing. Ron Wilson, Paul Cavallini alongside his brother Gino, right? No, Gino went his way. Okay. Rich Sutter, Bob Basson, Dave Lowry, Craig Jennings, who they picked up in exchange for Adam Oates, Garth Butcher, Rick Sambo, Michel Mongeau, Lee Norwood, Murray Barron, Darren Kimball, Philippe Bousson for France, Kelly Chase, the Goon, Kurt Giles, and Stéphane Quintel. 2 minutes into the game, Bob Brown to the box. And they scored. Dave Christian, Sister Christian as well from Janny 1-0. 1 minute later. They score. Ron Sutter from Butcher and Brett Hall. Hall can pass the puck. Okay. I do run. Chance for us. Fuck. Another chance. 4 minutes later. Okay. High speed attack. Horacek gets whacked by Bob Basson. And he scores. Cut the power goal. If ever should leave you, wouldn't be summer. He's not Robert Goulet, he's Michel Goulet, his first from Jocelyn. 5 minutes later. And the Blues are up 2-1 after 20 minutes. Still time. 3 minutes. No. 4 minutes. No. St. Louis penalty for Brett Hall. No. And a no. He was in the box. He was in the box, Mike. Agitated. We get agitated. And it's Dirk Graham for 2. Chance for them? No. Kill the zone. Much later. Belly on Cheney. But they kill the zone on Hudson and Brown. 5 minutes later. Now everything gets whacked by Brown. There's Brad Hall from Ron Wilson and Blasson. 3-1. Yikes. Too many penalties, guys. Goulet gets score to make it 3-2 with the empty net. He scored both of those. Ellis and Brown. We still lose 3-2. Brad Hall was fucking us up. All right. Vancouver Edmonton game 2. Sees Edmonton losing 7-2. Tugnutt losing to Troy Gamble. Vancouver was up 7-1 at one point. So, Jeff Corino put up 4 goals. Hey, Jeff. Calgary won 5-3, so that's the split. Ferdinand and Essensa. Winnipeg was up 3-0. 2 by Illinois, 1 by Helsley. But then Lindbergh, Roberts, Makarov, Nieuwendyk, and Gary Sutter for the Flames. Washington wins to tie that series 7-5. Beaupre beats Barrasso. Tight game there. No Kitchener thing. Devils are now up 2-0. New York's in trouble. They're down 2-0. Billington beats Richter. Man, the Devils are on fire. Ranger goes by Kerr, Erickson, Garner, and Garner. Devils goes by Filgren, Stasny, Seamack, Claude Lemieux, and Stashny. Boston up 2-0 as Moog beat Pupa. Buffalo goes by LaFontaine and Andrzejczyk. Ruzicka, Doris, Juno, Legionot. Montreal won 3-0. Another shutout. Wow over Whitmore. Savard, Carbonneau, and LeBeau. So Hartford just can't score a goal in Montreal. That's unusual. Detroit won 5-2. That's a split. Wakaluk losing to Chevy. Modano and Dolan from Minnesota. Chason, Jesper, Burr, and 2 from Fedorov. Game 2 sees a move. St. Louis moving to put Patrick Jablonski in the net against Dominic Hasek. So good old Hasek. Let's see what he can do. Too many Brown penalties. 5 minutes later. Chance Ilzer. 6 minutes later. Chase. Can we take advantage? Woo! Guessing again. Unreal. Michel Goulet. All 3 playoff goals scored by him from Larmer and Matteau. I didn't know. 5 minutes later. Let's go. There we go. Matteau, Stefan Matteau, and the Hawks have one more hill to climb, baby, from Goulet and Brown. 2 minutes later. Who shot JR? JR shot the puck from Goulet. 3-0. 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Brown. That scores Emerson from Ron Sutter and Brett Hall makes it 3-1. We have a chance to tie the series. Brown gets hit. There's a fight between Chase and Peluso, the visiting enforcer. So both of them and JR shoots and scores from Brent. It's 4-1. And that's the first. It took 6 goals, but it's the first time that Goulet did not score or assist. 5 minutes later. Well, speaking of the devil, Goulet from Rugen and Rogan. Yeah, we think Goulet on fucking fire today. 5-1. Kelly and Shanny. Chance for Ronick? No, we wanted the trick. We wanted the hat trick, but we beat St. Louis 5-1. Jablonski just got his butt handed. Hasek may be the missing ingredient. So it's 1-1. So we do have 4 series at 2-0 and 4 at 1-1. Vancouver is now 1 win away. They win 3-1, 4-1. Kirk beats Ranford. Tikkanen scored for Edmonton. Adams, Momesso, Ronnie, and Gary Falk for the Canuckles. The Devils are now 3 up. Billington beats Van Beesbrook. Love you. Kosher and Gardner for New York. Castletanoff, Stevens, Ketcheter, Richer and Bart. Boston. Boston wins 4-2 as Lemelin beat Tommy Draper. Rusika, Bork, Leach, and Carpenter for Boston. Mobilio for Buffalo. And Hartford did score 2 goals. Montreal 4-2. Wabi Whitmore. It took till Sanderson's goal in the second period. So that was what? 120, 140, 156 minutes before Hartford finally scored a goal. Gilchrist, Savard, LeBeau for Montreal. Sanderson and Mikael Anderson for Hartford. So the 4 series that were at 2-0 are now at 3-0. Minnesota won 5-3 as Wakaluk beat Shovel Day. Bellows, Kitchener, Dalquist, Basil McRae even goes goal. 2 by Darren Hatcher. Detroit goes by Chason, Probert, and Yzerman. Winnipeg beats Calgary easily 5-1. Beauregard took down Ferdinand. Stern for Calgary. Rosado, Olchek, Ochek, Sykes, and Mikey Eagles for Winterbank. And Pittsburgh wins 2-1, a tight one. Leo losing to Ken Reagan. Johnny Druce trying to do his goal scoring thing. He scored Mullen and Tockett for Pete. So now it's 1-1. Oops. Shit, that was not supposed to happen. It was Belfort versus Cujo again. Yeah, I pushed the wrong button. So yeah, we had our chances. Vince Alette, where did that Ferguson come from? From Larmer and Brown makes it 1-0, and then St. Louis tied it. Ron Sutter from Jennings and Basson. He just likes to hurt front. Power play goal after shining the ball. JR shot the puck. His third from Dirk Graham. And then St. Louis, Brett Hall sunk us. Not damn Brett Hall. I mean, I know Bobby played for Chicago. So we lost 3-2. I don't know what type of penance we'll do. Vancouver does not get the sweep. Edmonton wins 6-4. Vancouver was up 3-2. Ranford beats McLean. There's Jim Senlak. Kitchener. We'll go for the Canuckles. New Jersey gets the sweep over the Rangers. Van Beesbrook losing to Billington. Wow. Look at the Devils coming out of fucking nowhere. The Rangers were crushing it in the Patrick division, and then the Devils sweep them. Ranger goes by Wade and Leach, but Scott Stevens, Kitchener, Castletonov, and Randy McKay with the goals. And the New York Rangers don't even get a win against the Devils. The number 4 overall team losing to number 11. New York, Van Beesbrook 0-3, Richter 0-1. Mark Messier 7 points, but all for naught in his first series as a Ranger. 47 wins. 47 wins means nothing. Boston does not get the sweep. They lose to Buffalo 6-1. At least they go back home. Wayne Presley, Kitchener, scoring. Montreal gets the sweep. Ogbo, Procration. Mike McPhee from LeBeau and Keene in the third period said for Beacon Cullen. And then in overtime, 11:53. Savard passes to Mike McPhee, and the Whalers get swept. Waugh beats the Dorkowitz, or Scrabble Table. Number 1 in the NHL, Montreal. Yeah, they had 111 11 points to beat Vancouver by 2 points. So they take down Hartford. Whitmore 205. Sidorkowitz 167. Pretty good goals against, even though they lost games. Because they could only score 3 goals. Solapsky, Anderson, and Sanderson were the only 3 guys to score goals, and Patrick Beak got 3 points. That's how bad the Whalers were. They only got 3 goals off of Patrick Waugh, right? Patrick Waugh played all 4 games, right? Yes, he did. Okay, just making sure. Minnesota wins in overtime. Brian Bellows, Kitchener. Wakalak we shoveled it, but Bellows from Craig and Prop. So now Detroit's down 3 games to 1, just like in real life. Winnipeg shuts out Calgary. They go home up 3-1 as it's over Vernon. Eagle, Shannon, Steen, and Husley. Winnipeg better not do what they did against Vancouver in 92. Take a 3-1 series lead, and then Washington beats Pitt. So that series is now even. Beaupre beats Brasso. So New Jersey will have to wait a little bit of time. Joey Mullen got his 4th goal for Pittsburgh in the playoffs. Well, they were up 2-0 with Priestley, Christian, Bondra, Israeli, and Burridge. Game 4. We'll see Cujo and Belfort going at it. I don't know why we go with Belfort. We have to win. Win is the name of the game. Ron Sutter says, not so fast, Jeff. Kimmel and Jeff Brown. I swear, he's going to fucking kill us. 4 minutes later. Question? Any chase? Can we tie? Nope. Preserve and Mato couldn't do anything. 4 minutes later. That's for Steve Smith. No. 2 minutes later. Skior. Paluso. Paluso. Da-da-da-da-da. Ha ha ha. From Roenick. Of all people. 2 minutes later. Rachel Powell. We get it's 1-1 after 20. 3 minutes later. Jeff Brown from the point. Score. Much later. No. 4 minutes. 4 minutes. Candace penalty on Sutter. And they killed the zone on us. And we're down 2-1 to the Blues. We're in deep trouble. We could be out soon. 5 minutes later. No. Running the clock. Oh, and we had a chance. We did indeed. Okay. Chance for us. Nah, damn it, Pluso. 4 minutes later. Question? They got aggressive. It's Kimball. Can we do it? Can we do it? Jerk. And Grant Paul sinks us from Danny and Howard. Wow, it's Belfort stops. Man, Michel Goulet has been basically the only reason why we're doing so well. We're down 3 games to 1. Boy, I've done this before. Pittsburgh was down 3-1, remember? Vancouver won 6-3. McLean beats Brantford. So Vancouver will host the Smythe Division Finals. Pavel Bure, remembering who the heck he was. And Winnipeg wins 3-2 as Edson beats Vernon, Lehman, and Roberts for Calgary, but Murray, Ochak, Brosado. So Winnipeg does not choke this time. It will be Winnipeg, Vancouver. They met in 92 in real life for the first round. They'll meet in the second round. Edmonton, number 9 in your programs. Brantford 1-2. Tugnut 0-2. 5 points by Pete Dickley, number 85 in your programs. Love it. Love it. And Calgary's number 7 in the standings. It's like, wow. Calgary number 7. Chicago and St. Louis were way worse. 12 and 15. But yeah, Calgary number 7. Vernon was the only goalie. Although I would have went with Jeff Reese or something. Gary Roberts with 5 points. Nunbeck with 4, but they're out. Washington wins a goal fest 7-6. It was actually 7-4. Pittsburgh almost did it. Leo beat Raggett. So Pittsburgh, man, tough one. And Buffalo beat Boston. So Boston looked like Bethune was going to sink them, but Buffalo proved, remember, they were the champs last year. Boston was up 3-0. Leach and the 2 Sweeneys, Bob and Don. And then 5 of the next 6 goals were scored by Sabres. So Boston's now up 3 games to 2. Montreal's awaiting the Devils. The Devils know they're going to be on the road to start. So now Minnesota didn't do the job. Detroit 7-2. Chevelday does his job. Ray Shepard put up a hat trick. Is this real life? Well, we're down 3 games to 1, and it will be the Dominator versus Jablonski. So, well, we'll see. 4 minutes into the game. Damn it. Smith in the box. But they don't score. 2 minutes. He's in the zone. He is. 5 minutes later. They get a penalty. Footer. Let's go! What can Brown do for you? Score. That's what he can do from JR. The end of period. The Mr. Larmer. Ooh! Finally scores from Roenick and Marchment. 4 minutes later. 4 minutes later. Does it again from Kool-Aid and Larmer. 3-0. We're not dead yet, guys. 3 minutes later. Chance for Saint. Henry on Chicago. It's Gilbert. Great Gilbert. 3 minutes later. 3 minutes. Chicago penalty on 3 minutes. Chelios. And Emerson from Norwood and Mungo. 3-1. And 3-3. And it's 3-1 Chicago, so looks like Chicago might force a game 6. Well, Brett Hall has 5th from Jenny Wilson. Damn that Brett Hall. 5 minutes later. St. Louis gets a penalty. It's Kelly Chase. Can we take advantage? Damn it, Peluso. Control. Chance by us? No. Chance for her? No. Nice stop, Ashik. Nice. Penalty on Shanny. Okay. And Noodles. 3 minutes later. That's the tie. They do. Bob Basson from Wilson and Jenny. Jenny, 7 assists, man. 3-3. Oh, boy. Well, we got overtime. 3-3. Not a lot of overtimes in this playoff series. We were up 3-0, and now we're... This could be worthless. Down was hit. I just hit it. Blues get agitated. It's Mary Barron. Overtime heroics. The Limer. Ooh. His second of the night from Marchment. The Blackhawks win, and we're not dead yet. We win on prolongation. And we almost blew a 3-0 series lead, but we didn't. So there's still 4 series going on. Boston, Buffalo. Boston loses to Buffalo, so we have a game 7 in Boston. Moog losing to Poopa. Boston goals by Carpenter, Ken Hodge, and Nevin Marquardt. Buffalo goals by Andrzejczyk, Howard Wood, and in overtime at 4:07 thanks to a dumb penalty by Oates, Mogilny from Svoboda, and Bodger. Can't believe Montreal traded Svoboda for Haller. In the meantime, Washington sends the defending champs home, well, in real life, 4-3 as Don Beaupre. There's Wendell Young. Kitchener. Yeah, there's Wendell Young, but Washington sends Pittsburgh home 4-3. Mario, Erie, and Mario scoring for Pitt. Washington goes by Kevin Hatcher, Dale Hunter, Spit, Chris Dixon, Dino Cicerelli. So Pittsburgh's out, number 10. Yeah, they had Wendell Young being the number 2 goalie for Ken Young. But Reggett 2-1. They should have kept Reggett. Barrasso was nothing. Wendell Young wasn't nothing. Rick Tocchet scored 10 points in 6 games, but it was not enough. The move from Philly. So New Jersey will face Washington in the Patrick final. Montreal has to wait yet again to find out who they'll face. And Detroit wins in overtime over Minnesota. Shovelday beats Casey. Bob Probert from Eiserman and Racine. And then Minnesota from Bureau from Gagne and Jim Johnson. And then overtime, Kevin Miller, 45 seconds from Kerr and Lidstrom. 2-1. It was not a controversial goal. So Detroit's forced a game 7 back home. Are imitating life. Now we must go to St. Louis for game 6. And we must use Ed Belfour versus Guy Hebert. So Belfour wants to play. And Guy Hebert for St. Louis. They're like, well, we gotta try. Ed Belfour back in the net. But Brett Hall does it again. Ed Belfour, what the fuck? 4 minutes into the game. More. No. Much later. Oh yeah. We're not in St. Louis. Here's Shiny. Chansky or Papa Power Play Go. The Marshmallow scores from Chelios and Robbie Brown 1-1. But the Marchman, oh fuck, Mr. Diamond. 2 minutes later, it's Caluso. Of course it would be. Kill the zone. We're safe. Again. Calls from Jenny. Rick Sutter. Belfour, what the fuck? Much later. We got a penalty. Chelios. But they get penalty. It's Kimball. Haha. Open ice, no action. Chesky or Papa Papa Go. JR shot the puck. His fourth from Brent Sutter and Steve Smith. 2-2. 2-2 after 2. And we're at 2-3. 1 minute later. Skills. Brent Sutter from Smith and Limer makes it 3-2. Brent trying to stick it to Rich and Ron. Much later. Damn it. Brown. Unreal. Hit. 3 minutes later. Right? Between Steve Smith and Darren Kimball. Well, that actually screws us up because Steve Smith's a good defenseman. Kimball's nothing. Oh, we almost had it. We almost had it again. And we go to overtime for the second straight game. 3-3. 3-3 after 3 again. But it was a tooth and nail affair. It's been tooth and nail. Brett Hall has been the icon. We must not give up a goal. Shot. Brown. 3 minutes later. Aggression. Do we force game 7? Yes, we do! Overtime heroics. Oh, those golden grams. Oh, that dirt golden gram. Crispy, crunchy graham cereal. Such a breakfast treat. He scores from Larmer and Goulet. And it's a game 7. We win a la progression. Unreal. Ed Belfort saves the day. So we have a game 7. 3 of them. Buffalo, Boston. Does Boston force the issue? The answer is yes. Boston. Mo beats Draper. Boston survives a choke job. Let's see. Flighty Rasica with a hat trick. And Buffalo thought they had them beat at number 13. Buffalo had a chance to go back to back, but they couldn't. Pupa 3-2. Tom Draper just sucked. Dale Hawerchuk and Dave Anderchuk. Hawerchuk with 11 points. Anderchuk with 10. LaFontaine with 6 goals. That's not bad. That was pretty good. So that means Boston will have to head to Montreal for the Adams final, just like in real life. New Jersey, Washington didn't meet in real life in the Patrick because both the Rangers and Pittsburgh were the winners. Minnesota, Detroit. Does Minnesota? Let's see. Does Detroit win? The answer is they do. Overtime heroics. Actually, Detroit, Wakalak loses the Shovel Day. Well, Shepard from Konstantin Fedorov. And at 4:14, Sean Burr from Gallant and Shepard. And the Detroit Red Wings. Art imitates life. They go down 3-1, and now they've won the series. Well, that does mean will have to. Detroit will have home ice in the North Final. Vancouver does, Montreal does, and so does Washington, although the Rangers are. So now we would have to play Detroit. I think we've done well against Detroit. The starting goalies are Belfour and Hebert. So St. Louis basically yeah, Ed Belfour in the net. But they are definitely not going for that. They're going for Cujo. Cujo is undefeated, is he not? Yeah, Cujo. Eki Hebert fucked up game 6. I knew they were going to that. I hit pass. 4 minutes later. And Louis Cheney, no. We have a chance. Rob Brown, Fook. 2 minutes later. Now Bellini. Bellini gets hit. That's Brown. Keefe. 2 minutes later. A fight between Lowry and Peluso. Well, Lowry gets beaten up. We don't need Peluso. They kind of need Lowry. It works. Oh, those golden grams. Oh, that dirt golden gram. Crispy, crunchy breakfast cereal. Fun to eat. From Goulet. Makes it 1-0. And Ted Jenny thought he could score, but he can't. I don't think Jenny has a goal. I don't think so either. Brad Sutter and Stapleton and JR makes it 2-0. 3 minutes later. That's Florida. No. Pressure. And Chicago gets aggressive. It's Roenick for 2. And Emerson scores from Jeff Brown 2-1. Oh boy. 2 minutes later. Kudos! Newman from Kavchuk and Jocelyn makes it 2-1. Our lesser known players. 3 minutes later. Session? I don't know the Red Green theme song, but he scores from Chelios and Goulet. Yes, he's just the actor who played Red Green. 4-1. 3 minutes later. And they score. Rich Sutter scores. Ron scored against his brother. Now Rich does from Christian. 4-2. 4 minutes later. 4-2. This is nerve-wracking. Do we make the comeback? 3 minutes later. Sutter. Second time from Warner and Graham. And that's going to chase Cujo. It will be Riendu who will come in the net. 5 minutes later. Chelios from Roenick, 6-2. Oh, I think we made a comeback for the ages. 3 minutes later. Do we care? No. And Brett Hall scores his 8th goal in 7 games. But fuck, we are right there. Rich Sutter? No. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Hey, goodbye. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Hey, fuck you. 6-3. Well, we did it. We came back from 3-1 down. Detroit came back from 3-1 down. Boston almost was victimized badly, but we did it. We sent those big bad Blues out of there. Cujo 3-1, Jablonski 0-2, Hebert 0-1. So yeah, they really went with Cujo. Brett Hall 10 points, including 8 goals, but they didn't think they could get to us. So we did it. So now we play Detroit, Vancouver, Winnipeg, Montreal, Boston, Washington, New Jersey. The Patrick is the only division that doesn't have the 1 versus 2. Yes, Chicago and Detroit met in the 92 division finals, and that's when we swept Detroit. Vancouver and Winnipeg met in the first round in 92, and it was a 7-game series that the Jets choked. Washington and New Jersey did not meet in the 92 playoffs, and Montreal Boston did meet in 92 in the division finals, which Boston swept from Montreal. So art imitates life. And we are technically the lowest seeded team left at number 12 in the points standings. The Devils scored more points than we did. Really? Devils had 81 points. We had 76. So yeah, we're still fighting. Goal scoring, well, Ronick and Goulet, 4 goals. Yeah, Goulet scored 4 of the first 6 goals for us. Or Hall with 8, Stephen Leach with 7, Flatty Rosica with 6, Pat LaFontaine with 6, but he's gooned. Points wise, Adam Oates, number 1. He's got 12 points. Stephen Leach, 11 for Boston. Hawerchuk and Anderchuk are gone. Ronick and Goulet have 10 points each for us, so that's pretty good. While Casey Beauregard technically are their goalie. Hasek a 189, Belfour 275. Yeah, he's 2-3, but he got the wins when he needed to, and Hasek got the 2 wins when he needed to. Only 3 shutouts. Why? 2 of them, and Bob Essensaw with the other one. So yeah, it's gonna be a dogfight to see what we can do against Shovel Day. He played all 7 games, and Belfour kind of there. So Belfour Shovel Day. We'll see what happens. We will. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. Adieu.